Timeless wisdom. It is an understanding of the universe, the material, and beyond this to the spiritual. So the Vedas explain that there are basically these two different energies, if you like, that we're experiencing in our lives in this world. One energy is called the material energy or material nature. Matter, we're all familiar with matter. It is made of earth and water, different elements like fire, space, earth, water, fire, air, ether. So these elements are not conscious. Consciousness is a very important part of this study, this wisdom, because consciousness is a different energy than dead matter. It is a living energy, whereas matter has no life, and in fact, unless there is the touch of consciousness, of life, matter will not do anything. It will not move. It is inanimate. So these bodies, we've been exploring through these presentations the concept of how we change our bodies, or the body changes from childhood to youth to middle age, and then we grow older and the body diminishes. I think we all experience this. Is anybody not experiencing this cycle? I think it's pretty, we're not asking you to believe something bizarre, but all our bodies are going through these different changes from childhood, youth to old age, and then I think without exception, as sure as death, there is a final end to the body that we're going through at the moment. So the consciousness, the life force, the self within the body is not material. Of course, we hear so much that life comes from matter, that there was some kind of chemical configuration at some point that they're going to discover at some point some way of producing life from matter. But this is not actually proven or feasible. Life comes from life. It is a self-defined, self-energetic principle that is animating dead matter. Each one of us, each individual body, is an embodiment of a spiritual being, an individual conscious being. So each one of us, we're all different. We are experiencing life in different ways. We like different food, we have our likes and dislikes, and we're all very, very unique characters, very unique individuals. And the Vedas explain that this individual consciousness, our personality, who we are, it doesn't come from matter. It comes from the soul, or it comes from ourself, the real me. Because particularly the Bhagavad Gita, which is spoken by Krishna some 500 years ago, he's pointing this out, that as the body changes from childhood to youth to middle age and old age and death, so the person inside who is observing and experiencing the body changing through these different stages, it's the same individual person. It's the same individual conscious living being. And the body is changing in that way, and as we have seen, like, where is my baby's body now? I used to be in a little baby's body. I quite liked that one. Had a lot of fun. But where is it now? It's gone. It has gradually, the cells have changed. All the little particles have as we eat food and drink water, and that body. So that body is actually dead. That baby's body I was in is gone to dust. It is no longer. And now I'm in a middle-aged body, and the body will continue to change if I live longer, up to a certain point where it becomes unfeasible for not a good condition to continue living in the body. It breaks down, it becomes old. So as we're living in this body and it's changing through these stages, so similarly, at that time of death, it's not the end of our existence. As we've experienced these changes of body, death simply means a fresh set of bodies. It means a new start, a new birth in whatever body we will get in the next life. And this cycle of repeated birth and death is called samsara in Sanskrit. And it is because the soul is of a higher spiritual nature and matter is inferior, there is an incompatibility. The living being, we are spirit in the material world. We are trying to express and manifest our spiritual life through dead matter, but it is always incompatible. There's always a bit like trying to dance with a straitjacket on. We are restricted by the conditions of matter in so many ways. So the self is of a higher level of energy called the spiritual energy, and that is manifest in individual consciousness. So in the Eastern philosophy there's different schools. Some philosophies say that to become free from this entanglement in samsara, in matter, we need to give up all material connection. For example, in Buddhism there's this concept of nirvana, making everything zero or void, cutting out our connection completely with this material situation. There's other philosophies that say that if the soul becomes liberated from the material situation, he loses his individual personality and becomes one with everything. But Krishna conscious philosophy takes that a step further. We do pursue the idea of disconnecting from our material entanglement, but there is a more positive spiritual side after that. It is not merely negation. So just as we are, each one of us, every living being, not just human beings, but wherever we see life, in the trees, in the birds, the insects, reptiles, germs, wherever we see life, that means that there's a spiritual spark, a spiritual soul, experiencing that different type of body. And when we develop what we call Krishna consciousness, it means to understand that I'm a spiritual soul and that I'm actually a spiritual person. We don't lose our personal individuality, our personality, character, when we become liberated or give up our material entanglement. So, as we are trying to reflect, it's called a perverted reflection. We're trying to manifest our spiritual existence through the dead material body, the material atmosphere, but it's incompatible. So we are trying to, in Krishna consciousness, understand it's called self-realization. We're trying to understand and realize that spiritual being who we really are, but we're identifying with matter. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm young, old, black, white, all these different designations that we associate ourselves with in these bodies, and trying to discover who we are beyond that, these different labels that we have for ourselves, and understand that we're a spiritual being. And there's also, as we are individual small spiritual souls, there is also the supreme spiritual being, the supreme spiritual personality, and that we call Krishna. The name Krishna means the supremely attractive, as we're all attractive in different ways. Even in our material situation, there's some shadows or traces of attractive beauty, there's wealth, different opulences, but on a spiritual platform, the Supreme Person has all these attractive qualities of personality in full, and that Supreme Being we call Krishna. So this yoga system, yoga means to link. We're linking the individual self with the Supreme Self, or the Supreme Personality, and that's why we're chanting Krishna's names, and we're dovetailing or channeling all our artistic or whatever we like to do. We can cook or do music or so many things we do in life. We can actually connect that with Krishna, the Supreme Spiritual Being, and then we realize more and more who we are as spiritual persons beyond the body. So the body is changing, and we are a spiritual being, and we're chanting this mantra meditation, in order to help us realize that we are eternal spiritual souls. And actually we're servants of Krishna. In this world we don't like to usually serve very much, but actually we're all servants. We're serving our families, our nation, our community, our friends. We're serving in so many ways. No one is exempt from this service. So, but unfortunately we get a bit disappointed in the material situation. So the service to Krishna on the spiritual platform is called bhakti, devotion, loving devotional service to Krishna or God. And that is, it's not a religion, but it's actually the natural function of the soul. It's called the Dharma, Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan means non-changing, eternal, as the soul is eternal. So also the activity of the soul is eternal, and the Supreme Soul, or Krishna, is eternal. So that activity of eternal, loving, devotional service of the individual soul to the Supreme Soul is natural for all living beings. That's the original consciousness, and that is what we're trying to awaken and develop. It's very natural, and that's why we are practicing chanting Hare Krishna, mantra meditation, and there's many books we have. Try to get a book from the foyer before you go home, and you can hear more about this philosophy. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
So thank you, Giri. As I was saying about if you have any questions, if you do have any questions at the end, we're here. We're going to have some nice vegetarian food for everybody. So while you're taking something to eat, you can chat to any of us if you do have any questions. We have one short video